Did it out on live TV, bro.
No. Let me explain. They said that their ovens had gone down, all kinds of stuff, but folks went and got them anyway, which is why I'm not telling you who made them.
Okay.
But can't be because I'm a woman, but perhaps they did not like my politics.
Yeah. And I know how hard my family has worked to keep this business alive. My bakers come in 2 or 3 in the morning just to have donuts and rolls for everybody to come in and say, we have the best rolls ever. This is what makes Holteman's. It's the community.
So if you haven't heard the story by now, Whoopi Goldberg, as you can see there, learning the hard way that going after a Staten Island institution can be a recipe for controversy. Thousands of customers lined up outside Halterman's Bakery to show their support after the View co-host accused that bakery of political discrimination. Community leaders calling on her to apologize, but instead, here's the update. She appears to double down in this new video.
There seems to be a lot of talk about the dessert I requested for my birthday show. I never mentioned the name of the bakery or the location. It does seem a little odd that when we called a few weeks before my birthday and we were told they couldn't process the order for my birthday because of an equipment failure, but somehow they were able to accept an order of a different 48 of the same dessert when somebody else called without using my name. But it's all okay, y'all, because I enjoyed my delicious dessert and I had a happy, sweet birthday.
Again, and what this tells me is that she's just not aware of her overall celebrity. Now, my overall opinion can just be completely wrong. It could have been something super nefarious, or it could not have been something super nefarious, right? But coming from her perspective, I can see how you can kind of think that. But again, you're walking through the world with blinders on, it seems. You are, in fact, a celebrity going to a small business, right? That's just where I'm at with this, guys.
Looks like cleanup on aisle 6 to me.
Let's see what
Joining
this
us now
says.
is Staten Island Borough President Vito Vasella. Thank you very much for being here. We saw you at that news conference. I mean,
but that's a glorious
you lit the crowd
table.
up. You have people lining up outside the bakery because they feel bad for what's happened to this institution, the Staten Island institution. Welcome to you. Did that clear anything up, that video with Whoopi Goldberg there?
No.
No, not at all. In my opinion,
not at all. Yeah, right.
First of all, the story here is Holterman, the family is wonderful. They're the salt of the earth. They've had a business for 146 years. Not many people can say that. They have an impeccable reputation. People love them and their business. And then this woman went on national television and basically misrepresented what happened. And, to have a platform like that and disparage, potentially, arguably defame a business that has no recourse in the court of public opinion, and they were devastated. And what we said, we were going to stand up for those businesses, and we're not going to take the abuse. She may have had the bully pulpit, but she came across as a bully, if you ask me. And the family, not being used to this, said, what do we do? So the Staten Island community stood up and stood strong and stood up for the Holterman family, the Holterman Bakery. And I commend the Holtermans for just having the grace to take the high road, and the Staten Island community stepping out, waiting online hour after hour to say we support Holtermans. But it could have been any small business. It could have been anybody who was attacked on the national airwaves for something they didn't do.
As a reporter, I step back from the story and I say, well, could have something happened there that maybe we didn't see? Maybe there was somebody. This is just me asking you based on the facts that you have at hand. Could there have been somebody behind the register who didn't like the idea that this was for Whoopi Goldberg and said, not today?
What's funny is that what she's saying is incredibly valid, specifically if you have the ability to escape the echo chamber for the moment and just look at things for what they are, understand what people are just in general. Right? Like there could be some bad actors in scenarios, let's say. And that's why when I look at this, we really don't know a single thing about it other than what we're looking at. And I can only look at it from a person who owns business and say, you know what, listen, I'm going to make sure that I'm giving you the perfect product specifically, you specifically. And this here that we have, one of the pieces of machinery that we need to make sure that this is done is somewhat faulty. So the product that I'm going to end up giving you is not going to be as good as I would really like it to be, right? I do not want you to have a bad taste in your mouth about my product, guys, right? Specifically, you get what I mean? And that's just I think that's probably more likely the reality, depending on who exactly they spoke to, right? But this guy here is going to say impossible. That's the vibe I get.
So the facts are the boiler that they had in place that they need to make the cakes was about 60 or 70 years old. They were planning on replacing it. They didn't know how long it would take to replace. So Jill Holterman actually did the right thing by telling the woman, we can't commit to it. We would hate for you to have a birthday party and the boiler would still be down. So, go someplace else. And then the boiler was fixed, probably in less time than they anticipated, and then people could buy cakes again. She was not the only one that was declined.
So they send somebody else in there.
That's plausible.
After the fact.
After it was fixed.
Correct.
And so she connects the dots and says, oh, they'll serve them without my name attached to it, but they wouldn't serve me.
Yeah, and she wouldn't, the old expression, she wouldn't accept the truth. And somehow it was this, perhaps a degree of self-absorption that everybody thinks of politics every day.
Valid.
Just heard Jill. Her and her workers are at work sometimes 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning to prepare every day. You think she really cares about politics? Her customer base or across the board, she wants to do well in business.
Bro, what is she wearing?
That's bad when she used to dress weird.
Well, that's crazy.
The concern was that this woman took to the national airwaves and sought to destroy a company.
She didn't say the name of the company, and I'm not defending her in any way, but she didn't say it then. In her clarification on Instagram there, that video, she also didn't say the name of the company, and she reminded people she didn't say this. So the question now is there a case of defamation as the legal,
she didn't say the name of the company.
in the proper legal format? I'll put this up on the screen. This is Jonathan Turley's take. He says why defamation suit against Whoopi Goldberg could be piece of cake. The implied accusation against the bakery could fit into a per se category of impugning business or professional integrity. Goldberg's statement was clearly meant to impugn the reputation and professional standing of the bakery. It can be argued as defamatory per se by implication, says Jonathan.
Guys, she didn't mention the company's name. But here's the problem, though. If you do have a product that is excessively recognizable, you really don't have to, right? And the Holtzman's Bakery, specifically those cupcakes, are incredibly recognizable, right? So they're basically saying, like, listen, you got to figure out where exactly this is from, but you know where it's from because you can see the product. I get it. They didn't mention the name, but they showed the product. And the product is incredibly unique, and definitely, yeah, she gave it.
If you're not from Staten Island, you don't know where the fuck she got them cupcakes from. You have to be from that area to know the cupcakes.
A scathing review on live TV. This guy's opinion here is also incredibly interesting because that is adding some validity to kind of the statement. They're kind of flushing it out to the point where it may have just been exactly what they said, but somehow they got the boiler fixed within hours. That's basically the vibe I'm getting, right? But let's continue.
And Turley.
Got to respect that opinion. And I don't think if it went before a jury that people would think differently. Although she did not mention the name, in a matter of minutes or hours, it was deduced that the company itself was Holterman's. And again, I get back to it was a misrepresentation of what happened. And rather than give the benefit of doubt to the business owner, she goes on national television. And by the way, the first calls that the family got were not nice calls. They were borderline threatening calls.
Wow.
And it was at that point we stepped up and said, we're not going to take this. We're not going to let this poor family.
There's no case here, guys.
At the abuse of somebody who's going to seek to disparage, potentially defame, and you never know. If they didn't have a good reputation, that business could be destroyed. Yeah. How is that good in this country? And it happened to be Holterman's. It happened to be on Staten Island. We happened to be there to support them. But this could have been any business, small business around the country.
And they happen to make a dynamite Charlotte Russe dessert. So I've heard. Okay, so just to move this story forward, have you talked to the family? Do they have plans to file a lawsuit?
I have spoken with the family, but not about litigation. That'd be totally, that's in their court.
And how's business? People lining up at first.
As I say, I got to commend the people of Staten Island, but we got calls from around the country. The Holtermans did, around the world. People from Europe have been weighing in, people from the Philippines, all over to say, because they see this for what it is. They see this as an abuse by somebody on somebody who's just trying to go out and make a business. And if the Holtermans didn't have an impeccable reputation for these 146 years, who knows where this would be. But the people know who they are, and they stepped forward. So business, fortunately, has been booming. So any attempt to abuse them has backfired tremendously.
If there's one thing I know about the Staten Island community, is that you all are tight and you have each other's backs.
So Staten Island, we have about 500,000 people. We have a small town feel, and we're there for each other. It's a solidarity like no other around the country, and maybe we should send a message out, don't mess with Staten Island.
There you go, from the borough president. Thank you very much for joining us. Good to have you on the program.
Okay, guys. Okay. I don't think there's a case. I'm just going to be honest, because like here's the issue. If you experience something with a business, you're allowed to give a review, right? I mean, there have been a lot of companies who have tried to sue people for leaving reviews. And that's an incredibly tricky thing, okay? Because they generally lose. You're going to lose if you sue someone for leaving a review in your business. And that's what I think should be the first thing that would be brought up in this instance. Is it borderline defamation, though, guys? Defamation? I mean, did she say it with the intent to hurt the business without mentioning the name? It kind of feels like that. It kind of feels like she did that. But again, she didn't mention the name, and that's what is going to be the tricky, super tricky part, I would think. Like looking at it from the outside here, right? But I don't think that this is going to go far at all. Like if you own a business, try to sue someone who reviews your company. Okay, do that, right? I'm not sure that's going to function well for you because then they'll sue you back and they'll win. But either way, listen, you guys all have an absolutely amazing day. Enjoy your day thoroughly. Guys, before we go, are you guys subscribed to the other channels? Logical Movie Reviews with Mr. L. Boyd along with Mr. L. Boyd Music. Both are found in the description. Check it out.
Anyway, that's Mr. Boyd reacts. Yeah, so I don't think they can't sue that. They can't sue that lady, man. Y'all can't see me. They can't sue that lady because she didn't mention the name. So being that she didn't mention the name, they can't sue her. That don't make no sense that they can sue the lady. They can't sue them. She didn't say, yeah, they need to stop. They came out and said it was them. They came out and said it was them. And you know what? There might have been a whole play for them to get more business because then they figured that the communities will come out and support them anyway. And you know what I'm saying? I don't know. I don't think that. Yeah, she didn't. They can't sue. They don't have a case. If they sue her and they win, that's some bullshit. Because she didn't even say a name. They the ones came out and said it was them. Not Whoopi didn't say nothing. And then they saying, well, people know they. I guess they had a video of the cupcake on the table. I guess people from that area know how the cupcake looks. So people, pretty much people already knew that it was that particular company. But that's, I don't know that damn cupcake. I live in LA. I don't live in Staten Island, so I don't know that cupcake. You know what I'm saying? Oh, they can't sue that. That's messed up, man. What y'all think about this video? Leave your comments, subscribe to the channel, hit the thumbs up button.